Because she wanted to become Korean, this Austrian white girl Lisa went through multiple plastic surgeries to transform herself from a typical European girl with blonde hair and deep-set features into what people now call the standard Korean influencer face. From the first photos she posted online, you can clearly see that her original features were those of a typical Western woman. But after at least a dozen surgeries, her appearance has completely changed. Some people online even say that now she looks just like a Korean person. Hi everyone, I'm June. Welcome to my channel. I have to say that out of all the videos I've made, this might be the most shocking and mind-blowing story I've ever come across. In the photos, you can see that Lisa's face has become much sharper and more V-shaped, and she even had her skull shape and ear structure modified. Now, whether it's in still photos or live videos, the first impression you get of her is that she looks nothing like a white girl anymore. She's almost completely erased her original Western racial features. I've seen a lot of plastic surgeries over the years, from double eyelid surgery to cataplasty, from nose jobs to jaw shaving. But this kind of surgery, where someone not only changes their looks but completely alters their racial identity, is honestly something I've never seen before. This isn't just about trying to look more beautiful, it's basically crossing the line into racial transformation surgery. When I read the news and looked at the online comments, I saw a lot of people questioning her choice. Some even wondered if it's right for a white girl to undergo surgery to look Asian. But what actually worries me more is that, okay, if she wants to become Korean, I can say I can respect that choice to some extent. But if you look closely and every single part of her surgery, her eyes, her lips, and even her skull, you will notice that it all follows a very specific distorted beauty trend that's especially popular in East Asia, particularly in Korea and China, the so-called babyface look. Let me break this down a little. I've talked about this in my previous videos as well. The babyface aesthetic is a style that tries to recreate the facial features of babies or young children. It's extremely popular in modern East Asia, especially in the plastic surgery, makeup, and filter cultures of Korea and China. The main features of this look are like youthful appearance, non-threatening vibe, innocent expression, and a cute, soft feel. It's all about mimicking the facial traits of a baby to create a youthful and approachable effect. If you search for the term babyface on the Chinese social media app Xiaohongshu, you'll find around 1.3 million related posts. If you look closely at Lisa's post-surgery photos, you will see that her entire face has been remodeled to match this babyface template that's been trending in East Asia for the past few years. It's really obvious that her face now has the four main features of this aesthetic system: high, rounded skull, elf-like ears, big under-eye bags, plump lips, and flawless baby-like skin. And if we turn our focus back to popular influencers within China, you'll see that these same features are almost everywhere. The same high skulls, elf-like ears, exaggerated under-eye bags, plump lips, and porcelain doll skin achieved through filters. Even the beauty standards of Korean idols have been fully taken over by this babyface formula. East Asia countries have been deeply influenced by Confucian thought, which has a long history of emphasizing strict social hierarchies. In these systems, men traditionally work outside while women are often expected to stay at home, playing supportive roles like wives, mothers, or daughter-in-law. In this context, the more a woman appears childlike, the less threatening she seems, and the easier it is for her to fit into these submissive, supportive roles. That is why qualities like being gentle, obedient, and non-confrontational became the core virtues for women in ancient times. And these traits match up perfectly with the features of the babyface look. In ancient Chinese face reading, big eyes symbolized innocence, purity, and the lack of scheming nature. Plump lips represented softness, obedience, and a gentle way of speaking. Small, delicate faces symbolize the weakness, dependency, and a willingness to submit to one's husband or parents. And facial features clustered together like those of a child symbolized being well-behaved and compliant. In other words, this whole baby face aesthetic is basically a modern hyper-commercialized version of this ancient power dynamic, where women are kept in a perpetual immature state, both physically and psychologically. If you look at Tang Dynasty paintings, Song Dynasty portraits, or Qing Palace artworks, you will notice a common theme. Small round faces, fair skin, tiny cherry-like lips, and soft, rounded figures without sharp edges. A look that perfectly captures this internal girlhood vibe. So when you look at the modern plastic surgery industry, this baby face ideal has become one of the most marketable products for some businesses, targeting a never-ending stream of younger customers. And that's where things get really extreme. Just a nose job isn't enough. You need elf-like ears. Just a smaller face isn't enough. You need a cement-filled skull for a higher head. Just a double eyelid aren't enough. You need lips that are permanently stitched into a slight smile. One surgery isn't enough. You have to keep going back, maintaining it, trying to stay forever 18. And countless people are paying massive physical and financial costs for this pursuit. For example, to get the high cranial top, some people inject cement or fillers into their skulls, which leads to severe hair loss over time. To get those elf-like ears, some people add fillers behind their ears, which can cause the entire ear to become infected and rot. To achieve that permanently smiling, plump look, some people just cut the corners of their mouths and stitch them up, which can eventually lead to painful infections and even necrosis. And just when I thought I had seen it all, there is a new trend on the Chinese internet that totally blew my mind. The so-called protractor face. Some influencers are now proudly showing off jawlines so sharp they claim they match the exact angle of a protractor from math class. Fans have even started calling them natural-born protractor goddesses. As this term spread online, it gradually became a way to measure whether a girl fits the babyface standard. More and more girls are now joining this crazy trend, measuring their jawlines, checking their foreheads, and seeing if their features match this perfect angle. The closer their faces come to this baby-like shape, the more they believe they match the current beauty ideal. But stop for a second and think about it. When a beauty standard is reduced to something as rigid and precise as a protractor, doesn't that reveal just how extreme and distorted this whole trend has become? The babyface plastic surgery industry has basically become a never-ending money machine, groaning crazily under the pressure of countless ads, fillers, and beauty anxiety. To get a baby face early, many women, even those in their early 20s, are already jumping onto this plastic surgery bandwagon. Getting repeated fillers, bone shaving, cheekbone reduction, under-eye bag creation, philtrum shortening, skull heightening, ear fillers, and on and on. New procedures keep popping up like items on an assembly line, with wave after wave of newly defined beauty standards spreading from Korea to China and then throughout East Asia. One by one, unique, naturally beautiful faces are being forcefully reshaped into standardized templates, trapping more and more people in an endless cycle of surgery, repair, and resurgery. When you scroll through your feed, you will notice that the faces you see online start looking like they were all made from the same mold. It becomes almost impossible to tell one person from another. The extreme uniformity in appearance is essentially erasing individuality and diversity in beauty. We need to wake up and realize that what makes people truly beautiful is never about meeting some standardized, perfect look, but rather those unique and repeatable traits that make each of us special. when short videos and consumerism work together to create these anxiety machines, it's more important than ever to pause. Keep a clear head and reclaim our right to define what beauty means for ourselves. That is why when I saw Lisa's story, I was hit even harder by just how extreme and widespread this babyface trend has become. Its power is so intense that it can push someone to the point of completely erasing their original racial identity just to fit a single, idealized beauty template. This isn't a celebration of diverse beauty. It's a form of cultural erasure and aesthetic domination. And honestly, this has reached a point where we really need to say stop. So, to wrap up this video, I just want to say, no matter what you look like, the only thing that can truly stand the test of time and resist the ever-changing tides of beauty trend and aging is the unshakable self-worth and self-identity that you build within yourself. So, thanks for watching and remember to stay true to yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.